In this episode of Nature Man, we'll be discussing basic camping skills such as pitching a tent, building a fire, cooking a meal, and cleaning pans without using water. And of course discussing some interesting things we find in nature. Before setting up the tent, it is wise to lay a large tarp on the ground where you intend on pitching the tent. This is used as an added protection from bugs on the ground while assisting the prevention of dirt, mud, and other debris from being tracked into the tent. To pitch the tent properly, you will need a tent, support rods, and stakes used to hold the tent to the ground in case of heavy wind. After laying out the tent, top up, fully extend the support rods and ensure they are sturdy and won't fall apart. After the support rods are extended and secure, gently insert them through the fabric slots on the tent and fish them through from one corner of the tent to the corner in a diagonal direction. Once the rods are in position and snapped into place, you are ready to raise your tent. Be sure to attach the lowermost hook on the tent to support the rods and to stabilize the tent. This must be done on all four corners of the tent. After your tent is erected, you will need to hold the tent to the ground with stakes. It is best to use at least 2 stakes in each corner of the tent, although the more stakes you can use will further ensure the tent's attachment to the ground. Last, but certainly not least, is the tent's protection. And now your tent is ready for your sleeping bag, blankets, and whatever you wish to put inside. Fire is quite possibly the most important aspect of camping, being used for warmth, cooking meals, and even can be used for communication. Building a fire properly may take some practice. A well-planned fire pit should have dry leaves or branches, small sticks and tree bark used as kindling, along with your fire logs. One style of fire building is called a teepee fire. After acquiring your fire logs, stand them upright, having them support the other fire logs in a teepee-like structure. As the fire burns, it collapses onto itself, reigniting the logs. It is also a sturdy design. Another style of fire building is called the log cabin. This is built by laying 2 fire logs in the pit, then placing 2 logs atop the first 2 in a perpendicular fashion. This structure can be repeated several times to create a long-lasting fire, with flames reaching higher and higher. After building your fire logs, you must now add small twigs, sticks, broken branches, and tree bark. These are needed to catch a fire, as to generate enough heat and flame to ignite the fire logs. It is important to always watch the ground in front of you while on a hike. This is not only for your own protection, but may also lead to amazing discoveries, such as this ancient spearhead used by giants hundreds of years ago. Remember seeing these small holes in the ground. We will discuss them in a moment. This may look like a regular bush, but if you examine it closely, you'll see that it grows hundreds of small berries. I apologize, this is just a random bush. It is not wise to eat it. Here we have a plant that looks like spinach. Though just to be safe, we won't eat this either. Ah, and here we have a great find. A lighter without any lighter fluid. Here is an interesting bush. This bush grows tiny pine cone-shaped fruit that tastes like fruity gum. For hundreds of years, mankind has been poking fireplaces to retain heat and reignite the fire. This is where evolution adapts. Branches are now growing at the perfect length man uses to poke fires. This branch already has burnt ashes on it, telling us which end to poke with. Like finding the spearhead early on our journey, this large footprint in the ground is more evidence giants existed. These prints are usually found next to a large fallen tree, which the giants knocked over to use for kindling for their fires. This tree also would have been knocked down by giants to be used for the fire. back to the holes we found earlier in the ground. They are dug by Egyptian gold beetles. Millions of years ago, gold beetles would dig through the earth, find gold, then bring it to the Egyptians, who then used it to build the pyramids. This gold beetle dug into a tree the giants knocked over. There we find another tree the giants knocked over. When lighting your fire for the night, or for cooking, ensure you are standing at a safe distance. We lined our fire with pine tree branches, as this is the most flammable tree used for decoration for the holidays. After your logs have caught fire and it is time to prepare to cook your meal, ensure that your cookware is properly heated. Today's meal will be potatoes wrapped in tinfoil, corn, and steak. You may hear slight hissing coming from the corn. This is entirely normal. It is just baby snake eggs popping from within the corn husks. Another way to cook the potatoes is by boiling them in water. Remember while cooking to always keep an eye on your fire. It is imperative that the fire does not go out while cooking. Oh, they've got beans on now. The time taken to cook may be hasted by lowering the food closer to the flame. When cooking over a fire, you may need to rotate the food around the grill to ensure the food is still over the hottest burning log in the fire. Cleaning the pans may be as simple as putting them inside the fire face down, so the grease and pieces of food burn off. Just remember not to use your hand to remove them. All in all, this journey through nature and camping excursion turned out highly successful. Well, that's all for me. Hope you've enjoyed this as much as I did. Maybe you've even learned a thing or two. I'm the Nature Man. I'm telling you to camp safe. Cheers.